Welcome to Photoshop User TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop Guys.
Well, hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Photoshop User TV, brought to you by the fine people that bring you Photoshop User Magazine and the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. Well, welcome back everybody. My name is Matt Kloskowski, and I am here on the set with Mr. Corey Barker, who so proudly held up the magazine today.
I did.
I was proud of you, dude.
I've been practicing all morning.
I could tell. It was like, it had a nice, smooth, flowing
Didn't go as
nature
well
to
as
it
I'd
all.
hoped, but it's good enough, yes.
You'll get it the next time.
Yeah, I'll try.
Keep trying.
I'll keep
And over there in the Weather Center, we have Mr. Pete Collins.
Yep. How's it going, guys?
How's the weather looking there, Pete?
Well, it's
Looks like there's
looking a
TVs
little
in
like
there.
these
looks like he has
giant
the-
washing machines are circling the Earth, and they're a little bit scary, but hey, we should get a good rinse cycle out of it. How's it going, guys? Hey, if you didn't notice, on that Photoshop that Corey held up, that's our wedding issue. We just had a great time at WPPI, and we've got some great stuff in there for you wedding photographers. And even if you're not a wedding photographer, you can learn a lot from the stuff we have jam-packed in that magazine.
It's an all wedding issue. Everything in here is about weddings.
Yeah, it kind of has. It's. We have some themed issues throughout the year, and that's this is the first time we've done an all wedding issue, and I encourage people that even if you're not a wedding photographer. It's, like WPPI, which is a conference, for example, wedding and portrait photographers. Wedding photos are portrait photos. It's pretty much the same things you would do to a wedding photo if you're a portrait photographer.
Yeah.
You would do the same exact thing. So even though it says wedding, and if you're not a wedding photographer, if you take pictures of people, I think there's a lot of stuff in there for you.
If you shoot, you're bound to shoot a wedding at some point in your life, in your shooting career.
Well,
hope not.
the flip side of that is
Whether you want to or not, you're going to eventually shoot a wedding.
the flip side of that is a wedding photographer really has to be all kinds of photographers. You've got to shoot event, portraits, products. You're shooting all that, so it can translate into whatever you're doing.
Cool. All right. So real quick before we get going, we have a ebook deal of the week here. So for a limited time offer, you will get 40% off of the Adobe Masterclass with Photoshop by Barinex Perillo. And the ebook price is normally $27.99, but you'll get it for 40% off, so it'll be right around $16, $17. You can use the coupon code KelbyTV. Offer ends March 31st.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 40% off of anything is.
Oh, and we love a Barinex.
And of course,
he's
look
awesome.
around. I mean, there's a lot of great books on that.
He's
site,
got Barinex has a great podcast / interviews.
He
the
does
Candid
some-
Frame. Is that
The Candid
what
Frame.
it's
He
called? The
does
Candid Frame.
some great interviews with people around the industry. So
Yeah, he
definitely
does
check
some of
him
the
out.
best interviews out there. So.
Very cool. So I think we should kick things off because we really can't. We've talked about everything else.
I was hoping you'd pick it up because
That was smooth.
It
That was
says,
smooth.
It says Matt tutorial, and it's really
I
awkward
really-
for me to throw to
I
myself.
think you should throw
so.
to yourself. No,
I was
so-
hoping Corey would jump in there and
Let's
say,
start.
"Hey, Matt, don't you have something?"
Matt, I believe you do have something.
I do. Wow, I'm so surprised that it's my turn.
Only hoping. All right,
I
so
never
what do you
knew. All right, so this is something that I did. I did on my blog over at mattkay.com a couple of weeks ago, and I was surprised. Crap! Can you do me a favor when I start this? Can somebody run into my office and get the acrylic print that's on my chair?
I'll go get it.
Pete would love to. Pete'll be right back with that.
All right, I was supposed to bring it over and I forgot. So this all happened. So I had this acrylic print done.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Those really thick ones. Those things are.
yeah, they're
ridiculously
they're
heavy,
amazing.
yeah.
They are heavy, but they're amazing. And I got it. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
The one thing that I saw was that I missed some spots up in the sky, like sensor dust and junk that you see over in front of your camera there.
Yeah.
And I missed cloning and healing out some of those spots. And luckily, when normal people look at this, like from a normal distance away, viewing distance,
Right.
and nobody would ever see it. Here, Pete's got it.
Got my workout this morning.
There we go.
What a winded.
Thank you, Pete. So this is the one here, and normally, and from the angle that you're viewing it at, and where most people would stand, which is a few feet away, I don't think anybody would ever see it.
Sure, no.
But when what do photographers do? The first thing photographers do is we come up, if this is the print, we're like this.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like looking at it really
Scrutinizing
close
from
because that's
inches
what
away, yeah,
photographers
exactly.
do.
We have to examine it.
Yep.
So I noticed a couple of spots. So
Here, let's.
Here,
thank you.
So I
I'll be
noticed a couple
gazing
of spots on
longingly at
that.
it.
He's also a stagehand, so.
And you know, when you do that, you're having a nice print done. You kind of really want it to be perfect. So I had a couple of tips, which, by the way, I'll give you the website. It's iacrylic.net. It's we'll pull up the
I'll
website
verify
in a
while
second.
you do
I think
that.
it's a .net. I don't think it's a .com, but. So I had a couple of tips for people because I think it's a really important step. Yeah.
Yeah, iacrylic.net.
iacrylic.net, and beautiful, beautiful acrylic prints. I mean, they are stunning when you see
We had a handful
what
of
you
them
can
coming
do
in
with
office,
them.
and they all look really great. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so anyway, just some tips for people. I think it's a really important step. It's something, if you look at my screen right now, okay, when you're editing your photos, if this is the view that you see, you don't see the spots. You don't see the spots until you start to zoom in, and you zoom in a little bit further, and now you'll start to see all those little things up here in the sky. But you don't see it until you zoom in. And I think most people, when they're editing their photos, are probably just looking at exposure and contrast and brightness and whatnot, and
Yeah.
keep their photo in this view.
Now, paranoid people might look at that and think UFO.
It could be a UFO, but I'm pretty sure it was my camera. I know how careless I am when I change lenses, so. Anyway, so it is such an important job. I want to show you a couple ways to do it. If you're inside of Photoshop, here's a little trick for you. When you have your photo open, you can just press Command-I on the Mac or Control-I on the PC, and you'll see it inverts all the colors inside your image here. And what you'll find is a lot of times those little spots, which mostly this happens in the sky or on a solid background, you'll see a lot of those little spots become evident over here. You can really see that, you know, they kind of contrast a little bit better. So it's just Command-I on the Mac, Control-I on the PC. It's a non-destructive change, and when you're done, you can press Command or Control-I again. So I would press Command or Control-I, and then go in here, go grab my spot healing brush, and just kind of go through here and just kind of click on those spots and get rid of them, and then press Command or Control-I again, and it takes you right back to the regular view of the photo. So that's one way to do it inside of Photoshop. There's also a couple of tips for you if you're inside of Lightroom. One of them being my favorite little tip, because you do have to be zoomed in. So what I do is I zoom in onto a corner inside the photo. And if you look over here in the Navigator panel, you see this little box? All right, so here's what's cool about it. So first off, we go into the Develop module, and I turn on the spot healing brush, and I'd start, because right here I can see that there's spots already, so I would turn on the spot healing brush and go in here and start to just resize the brush a little bit and click and get rid of those spots. But here's the trick. Press the page down key and look at what happens. See how it moves down? Press page down again, 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 again.
Looks like it's moving through tiles.
Yeah, but here's where it's really cool. It gets all the way to the bottom. Watch when I press page down again, it shoots up to the top.
Right up to the, yeah.
And now I make sure I'm not missing any part of the image here. Sure. And it also overlaps too. So it's just overlapping just a little bit. So I can go ahead and get rid of those spots, page down, page down, page down. If you don't have a keyboard with a page down key, I'm holding down the function key and the down arrow key.
Yeah.
And that serves as your page down. But, and you see it just jumps right over to the next section. So that's a really good way to spot your photos, to go through there, make sure you haven't missed anything. And then another way to make sure to kind of do something similar to what we did in Photoshop is if you go to your tone curve and you just do crazy like reverse curve.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool effect.
Yeah, it's like that solarized type of a look. So you're almost just like reversing the curve. Look at when I get up here at the top. Let me go ahead and reset the spot healing brush. But if I zoom in a little bit, now those spots. Whoa, don't worry. There we go. Now those spots become really apparent. Like there's no way that you're going to miss them. So just turn on, make your curve look a little bit weird at first, and you can save it as a preset. Just come down here under point curve and hit save. save it as a preset. So whenever you want to go through and spot clean your photos, you just turn this curve on.
And again, it's a non-destructive thing. So
yeah, it's all non-destructive because when I'm done, all I got to do is hit linear, and it goes right back to the normal curve. And you can see the difference there. Look how easy they are to see there, and look how hard they are. Oh, flatten the curve, and look how hard they are to see there.
Yeah,
So-
that's a great contrast.
And here's the thing, is if you're printing your photos, this is essential. You will not see this stuff unless you zoom way into your photos on your screen. But when you print your photos at any size, 13 by 19, 17 by 22, when that photo gets bigger than your computer screen, these things will stick out as like a sore thumb. The rest of the world may not be able to see it like the acrylic print.
Right.
I don't think most people will ever see it, but you as a photographer spent time and money printing your photos, and you want it to be perfect.
And you're certainly not going to see it on the LED screen on your camera.
No, definitely.
Absolutely not.
Not. So there's a couple of tips for you between Photoshop and Lightroom.
That is awesome.
All right, Corey.
Yes.
It sounds like you're up next.
I am. I actually found some. This is an image I shot. I actually do a lot of more stuff with my iPhone these days. It's become a much more viable design tool because it's shooting a lot of really good photos lately. And this was one I actually shot a while back when I was on tour at the Detroit airport right here. And I saved it to my computer and just couldn't really think of anything to do with it. I really like the window. I've seen this image, probably seen it in some movies, here and there. And just never really thought of what I could do with it until now. Well, until recently. Now, here's something to think about when you get a shot like this. What I really wanted to do was really kind of have a symmetrical look here. But obviously there's the jetway that's attached to the plane, and then, it's not very, very balanced and anything like that. So here's what you can do. I'm going to first straighten the image by going and getting the ruler tool. I'm just going to draw the ruler across this middle line window here, right there. And then go up here in the options bar, just click straighten layer. And it's going to straighten the layer out, and you can see it's tilted it just ever so slightly. So now that it's straight, I'm going to bring up my rulers, just press Command or Control R, and I'm going to drag out a vertical guide, put it right in the center of the plane, right there. Now all I'm worried about is actually this side, this left side of the image here. So what I'm going to do is actually select that entire left side of the image, and then press Command or Control J. Copies that area to a new layer. And then we'll go to Edit and just flip it. Go to Transform, Flip Horizontal. And then drag it over, and it's going to snap to the edge of that guide right there. And now I've got a nicely balanced, symmetrical image here. Now the problem is, it's almost too mirrored. Now the fountains and the wings of the plane actually looks like it's completed the shape of the plane, as you can see. The problem is this thing up here. This looks like a sign that's in the window. I don't want to, actually doesn't look too bad, but I only want to have it on one side like it was in the original image, remember, like that. So let's flatten that down. Just press Command or Control E. And I'm actually going to crop the image in a little bit because there's a lot of extra stuff I don't really need. I'm just going to crop in here a little bit. And we'll bring in the bottom like that. Okay. So it's not looking too bad. Colors need some adjustment. We'll do that in just a moment. But first, let's get rid of this one sign here on the right side. So I'm actually going to go and get my rectangular marquee tool and draw a selection over this area right here, that very small area, because I want to take this pattern over to that other side. So once again, press Command J, and it copies it to the new layer, and we'll just slide it over until it covers that area right there. Now, here is the one of 3 occasions in history I'm going to use content-aware scale. Because as cool as it is, I haven't really found all that too many uses for it.
Nah.
Content-aware fill, I use it
yeah.
all the time, and I know we all use it. But content-aware scale, this is one of the few occasions it actually works well. So with that, I'm just going to drag it across. And actually, scaling it normally probably would have been fine too, but if you have a reason to use content-aware scale, why not? Okay. So again, I'm just going to drag it over until it gets right on that edge there. Right there. And there we go. So now that it blends that area nicely. So now I'm going to just, again, copy that. Just hold down the Option key. If you'll see, I get a little double arrow here. And then Option, Shift, drag over. And we'll just take care of that little part on the other side there. Now, obviously, there's a little bit much of it, so let's just select that area right there and hit Delete. There we go. So now we're back to what it looked like before. We had the sign on the one side and everything looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten all this down. And finally, make an adjustment, I'm just going to press Command or Control J, and that's going to duplicate the entire layer onto a new layer, or basically duplicate the layer. And then change the blend mode to soft light. And you notice it kind of bumps up the contrast a little bit. But I'm going to make it even more so by boosting the saturation. So if I just press Command or Control U and boost up the saturation of that layer, there we get a little bit more of that color coming in. You can see the difference there.
Oh, yeah.
And there I have a nicely balanced symmetrical image.
Nice.
This could be a nice design poster. I actually saw this on a movie poster design. It was used as this kind of element.
Cool.
But now I've got the whole plane. It doesn't have the jetway or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just simply using that part of the image. So if you have an image, you know, and I have a large library of images I look at, and if an image as a whole doesn't seem to be useful, then look at parts of it. You might be able to take a piece of it and flip it, or invert it, or do something to it to make it work. And in this case, CERM seems to work really well, and could be a really cool design.
Very cool.
Yep.
Hey, really quick before we're going to jump in and take a break here, I pulled up the website for the acrylic print that you guys saw earlier. So if we can jump, it's iAcrylic. I know Corey mentioned iAcrylic.net. It's pretty neat though. If you go to the homepage, they actually have an area called Learn More. So it's a kind of neat read just to see how the acrylic prints were developed and everything behind there. But you can see a whole bunch of stuff about it, and of course place your order over there. And I think NAP members might even get a discount. We'll have to check into that.
Have to double check that. Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we have Mr. Pete Collins, contest prizes, all that fun stuff. See you back here in just a minute.
Cool.
Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here, and I want to tell you about a brand new member benefit for members of the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. We just call it NAP for short. So at NAP we have literally thousands of training tutorials. That's what we do, we teach Photoshop, right? But the tutorials that we've had have always been kind of short, sweet, down and dirty, quick. But now we are announcing full, in-depth online training classes. That's right, taught by some of the best instructors in the world. Now here's the thing too, if you're a beginner, this is so for you, because the focus of our first round of classes was really on the beginner, on leading you step by step to where you become advanced. And we'll be adding new classes all the time. Now, the coolest thing about all this is, we didn't raise the price. In fact, we've never raised the price. NAP still is just $99, back like it was years and years ago, but it includes a full subscription to Photoshop User Magazine, the digital version or print, your choice, and these brand new full-length online training courses. So I hope you'll check this out at PhotoshopUser.com. It's where people go to get really good at Photoshop.
Hey, we are back with more Photoshop User TV. Matt Kloskowski with Corey Barker.
Hello.
And Mr. Pete Collins over there in the Weather Center. I did check. We were talking about right before the break.
Exactly.
The
you
acrylic
did
prints.
find it.
I pulled it up on the NAP member website. So iAcrylic does indeed have a NAP member discount, and you can see it there. You get 15% off of your acrylic prints.
Nice.
So hey, real quick before we get going, guess who has a new blog? Not just the guy sitting next to me, but the other guy sitting next to me too. So guys, if you're out there in the blogosphere, make sure you check out two very, very talented individuals have started their own blogs, and it's about freaking time.
I know.
So
Been after me at it for a long time. I finally got it put together, and I'm really excited about it. No,
yours is Corey's is at CoreySBarker.com.
CoreySBarker.com. Yep.
And Pete, yours is at PeteCollins.com. Correct?
PeteCollins.com, that's right. I was trying to pull it up, but I'm not even fast enough to do that. PeteCollins.com.
Well, you can pull it up for your tutorial or something.
Yeah.
So, but Corey S. Barker, you got to put an S in there.
Yes,
so
exactly.
CoreySBarker.com and PeteCollins.com. Make sure you check out their blogs, guys. They are.
Now, are you saying P or Pete?
It's a P Collins.
No, it's
Pete.
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 The whole name.
P-E-T-E.
Now, Pete Collins is his email. Ooh.
Yep. There's mine there. I've got wedding.
And did you guys both use Squarespace?
Build it on Squarespace, absolutely, yeah. I did mine over a weekend. It was quick and easy. I highly recommend it. It's actually very, very slick, very easy, very easy.
I have my photography portfolio with them. I already had an existing blog with WordPress, so I haven't moved everything over to.
I had already built one on WordPress, but then was still so new that I was thinking, like,
Yeah.
And I jumped over to Squarespace and put it together, and I'm really happy with it. It's coming together nicely. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, you got a tutorial for us?
Yeah, I do. But since we're over here, I'll just play you a few seconds of the random flying elephant that I had for my blog the other day.
He's very proud.
This is all done with Photoshop, with the video and stuff. And here's a little tip for you. I had to figure out how to get the background to move nice and smoothly. Mm-hmm. And that was all done just by holding my shift and arrow button and scrolling down a long thing of clouds that I made. So that's just a random. I am so low tech, it's scary. And yet they let me do things like this.
I bet you there's got to be a way to animate.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh, no, I told
Corey
you.
will have it in 3D animated, and the elephant will jump out.
No, I already
the side.
told you. Remember I told you the layers?
I know,
yeah.
I know. I get tired of you telling me how stupid I am. It's just sad.
I don't ever say it directly.
He blogs about it, though.
The walls are thin. It's so hard not to hear. When you
Calls
say,
up RC.
"God."
RC, you won't believe what Pete did today. All right. Well, speaking of being a little bit dense, one of the things that I've talked about over in the NAP website, and if you are not a NAP member, you need to come over there because we have some great stuff over there. We've got online tutorials, full-length classes, and we've got just new tutorials that we put up there 3 or 4 times a week. So come check it out. And this week I put up one talking about Preset Manager. And oftentimes, Corey and I will talk about creating your own brushes. Mm-hmm. And what happens is here I've got this, and I've created these brushes for I'm working on a thing about creating different types of frame edges and things like that. So I've got all these different edges that I've created using simple brushes. And the great thing is then when you get done, I have this whole list of brushes here. Well, the thing is, what do I do once I've created these brushes if I want to keep hold of them? Because if I come in here and let's say I want to go load more brushes, or let's say replace brushes, it's going to make you come over here, but as soon as I replace it, all these are gone unless I've saved them. Now what happens if I want to come in here and save the brushes? I could come in and I could hit save brushes, but the problem is it's going to save every brush that I have up there. And I don't want to have all these regular brushes that I've had before saved with those brushes. Well, what do? I can come in and I can right click on any brush and hit delete brush, and it goes, do you want to delete the brush? Yes. And that's fine if I only have a couple brushes, but I've got about 30 or 40 brushes in here. I'd have to go through each individual one and delete it, and it would be quite frustrating. This is where the Preset Manager comes in super handy. And a lot of people just don't know to go over to this. If I click on it, what it does, I say it's kind of like the bridge of your different things that you have in here. You have your brushes, your swatches, your gradient styles, tools, all those things in here. And now, instead of having to just do one individual thing, I can come over and I can tap on the first one, hold my shift button down, and select all those and delete them in one simple swipe. Now what I can do is I can select, I didn't even have to delete those others, but I could come in and just select all those. And if I didn't want one, hold my Command or Control button and get rid of one just by clicking on it. But any of them that I have highlighted, now I go Save as Set, and it immediately jumps to my brushes where it's going to be held. And now I just simply do a title, say Rough Edges, and I hit Save, and then I'm done. And so now, if we go back to the brushes, you can see where I've eliminated all the original ones. What if I needed to work on something else? I'm just going to hit Reset and hit OK. Now it's bringing back all those other brushes. Well, now I want to go to those edge brushes again after I've worked on a different project. I can simply come in here, load brushes, and I can do rough edges, and it's right back in there. And so a lot of people will make brushes or styles or any of the other things. I do that with styles as well. They forget that if they don't create their own little set of them, then as soon as they change out brushes or do whatever, it disappears. But if you remember, you can go to your Preset Manager either by in your brushes right over here, or if you want to do it over here, click on your brushes. You just do the drop-down menu. Let's try that again. All right. Preset Manager. And you can use that to organize all your brushes, all your styles, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. I have hundreds, if not thousands of brushes.
Yeah.
If I kept them all up there, first of all, it would bloat my computer and it'd bog it down. So I'm only going to use certain brushes for certain projects. So now I can go in and go, oh, I need rough edges, and I can go in and find it, and I'm only working with those, so I'm not spending all my time looking through all my brushes. Same thing with styles. If you're an artist like me, you tend to just kind of wing it, but if you will do a few steps like this, it'll make your life a lot easier and a lot more effective when you're trying to work on something.
Not to mention, good idea to back up if you have a large collection that you created to back them up.
The worst thing to do is create all these brushes and then you lose them. And you're like, oh, I love that brush, and you never are able to create it again the exact same way.
Of course, I always think to myself, yeah, I can just recreate it, but if you've got a number of brushes like that, then you're like, no, I don't want to have to do that.
And the preset manager rocks. So many people miss that whole thing and do it in the palette. But
and it isn't just brushes. I mean, that preset manager manages layer styles.
Well, that's what I showed on the NAP website, the tutorial about saving styles. If you get in and you create something that has a great effect, go ahead and save that style as the first step. Save it as a style, but then get a collection of styles and save them as a set so that you can work just with that set.
Precisely, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right, hey guys, we're going to take a very quick break. When we get back, we'll have our contest and finish up the show. See you back here in just a minute.
Prizes.
You tweeted, right? Hey guys, we are back. Photoshop User TV. So we have a very special occasion today. We actually have in-studio guests. We don't normally have in-studio guests.
No, not often.
But
and all the way from
you
Shanghai.
Might even, from Shanghai and Florida? Scotland. Wow, you guys
Wow.
we have Greg and Allison. So here, show them again. Give a big wave. There we go. No, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
There they are.
Hey.
It's the awkward. So sadly for them, they got to come in here and watch our show today. So
They made the mistake of coming in the front door and then we locked the door behind them. So they are pretty much trapped.
you know what though?
I think people know, because we always seem to get guests on Tuesday.
They're pretty lucky that we didn't make them do a Photoshop tip.
That's true, yeah.
Because we have been known to do that to people.
Ordinarily,
before,
people come in here and we're like, you got a tip, Candy?
All right, do you have a tip?
Uh-oh.
Is it like a verbal tip, or do you need an image? What do you got here?
I can do a quick one. DNG.
DNG? What do you need? What do you need open? Or is it?
Like a standard raw file and DNG. Just a simple.
Come on up.
That could be a problem because I don't have a DNG. Do you have a DNG, Pete?
DNG?
Ah,
Who works in DNG?
All right, hold on.
I got some somewhere.
Let's do this.
It's a race now.
I can convert to DNG. I got Lightroom, dude. I convert to DNG before you even open up Bridge.
Yeah, this is you and Peter on this one. This is. I might have 3 raw.
You know what
files
Greg
here.
just said? There's a reason Bridge is free. That's good.
You're not working on my computer.
All right, hold on. This will the. We're doing it.
I could also say that
Meredith is like.
I could also say there's a reason Lightroom's cheaper than Photoshop, but I'm not going to go there.
They're scrambling to get him a microphone, too.
No, I was going to give him mine. Nobody really cares if I speak, so it's okay.
Ain't that the truth, Matt?
Let's see here.
All right.
Oh, okay. Here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
While we're getting
doing it,
DNG,
yeah, here
let's
we
do
go.
our
All right,
contest
so-
and prizes here.
That's great.
So, Corey, what do we got for prizes?
Prizes today, we have the perfect, no, I'm not going to do the game show voice now. Perfect Photo Suite 6 here from On1 Software. You'll get this, as well as a book from Oz to Kansas by Mr. Vincent Versace, who also presents the Vincent Versace Photography Award at Photoshop World. Speaking of Photoshop World.
Yes, Photoshop World is coming up very soon. So
Very
April
soon. April 17th.
17th. So
Well, Pre-Con Day is the 16th, but we're in Orlando, Florida, and It's coming up, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're going to be in Orlando or anywhere near Orlando, make sure you come by and see us. Anywhere in the Southeast, it's a pretty easy place to get to.
And of course, if you're not attending, we of course have the Expo days.
Yeah.
Come and check out the Expo, and come and, if you're just going to come and check that out, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. There you go, PhotoshopWorld.com. Be sure to check that out. Me and Matt and Pete, and among everybody else, will be teaching there. You can see right there the instructors. Anyone and everyone you can think of. Photoshop or photography will be there.
Cool. Hey, we got some new instructors. We had Colin Smith this time. Jason Group we added too.
And Aaron Blaze.
Aaron Blaze.
Disney Animator is going to be there. He's got some great stuff, so we're really excited. So.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, by the way, so I know one of our prizes is On1's Photo Suite. So I love On1's products, and just so you guys know, they have Photo Suite 7 out. Yeah. So we're giving away the previous version. I'm sure when you get this, if you contact the nice people at On1, they will gladly upgrade it for you to the newest version of the software. So
yeah, what is this? You know.
So hopefully we're about done with those because I know we have some Photo Suite 7s to give away eventually too. So anyway, all right, Pete, did you find a DNG?
Oh no, I gave up. I thought you were doing it.
No.
Oh crap!
I was doing the content. Never mind. I'll hear. Pete.
Can it be verbal? Do you need an image? Or?
No, we'll do it.
No. We'll get it. It's not going to be a good image.
This is Matt's fault because he had to go ahead and say, "Hey, come on up and." So Matt has to fix the problem.
He's visitor. He should go through all the pain and suffering that visitors go through when they come here.
Yes,
so
but
here,
I got
one. Can I have it open in Lightroom?
The tip is really about the file size and how they're a lot smaller than normal raw files, and how the XMP file is built into the DNG file. So you don't have to, if you move them around, you don't have to deal with the XMP file.
Okay, here, we can do this. Here, come on.
Yeah, we can do it as a puppet show.
Yeah, I don't have anything to juggle right now, so you need to.
We can we can get away with this here. So here is all right. So here's a good example.
Yeah.
So here we have a raw file.
Yep.
They're all about 40 megabytes.
Yep, sure. Yeah.
Somewhere on here. I guess we need to see my computer here to be able to. This is Greg, by the way. Cheesy thumbs. You're from Shanghai.
Yeah, but from the UK. So
He's actually friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he
He's
knows
friends
Dave
with
Clayton.
Dave Clayton. That's not a good sign.
Can we off?
Go to screen here.
Okay, so we're on the screen here. So here's a raw file, and and these are all taken with the same camera, Nikon D800. So they're all going to be around 40 megabytes.
Sure.
So there is the raw file. So let's go ahead in Lightroom, and we'll come up here, and we'll go to the library menu, and I'll convert it to a DNG. Mm-hmm. And only convert raw files, looks good, file extension. The one key is, would you say you don't want to embed the original, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I go ahead and I'll do the conversion, right?
Sure.
You cool with this?
Because when you embed the original, you actually add more to it and it bloats the file.
Yeah, and then there's no point in DNG.
Right.
So what you're saying is that originally this file was 40 megabytes.
Yep.
Right? And if I were to, you're saying that if I right click and I do show in Finder, and it shows me the DNG file.
Now you see, you save 10 megabytes in one
So
file.
25%.
Yep.
25% file size.
And the thing with these NEF files is you do a change, you have your XMP file next to it, right?
Yeah, so that's
in
what
DNG,
all these are.
It's built in. Yeah, exactly. So when you're messing around and you need to move a file, or you need to move it over to a backup once you work, you can end up really screwing up your work because you can go back to the original.
Exactly.
You can lose all your work.
Yeah, and I was saying if you're sharing your work with another photographer, and that photographer needs the raw file, you would have to make sure you sent them the raw file and the accompanying XMP.
Absolutely.
So they get two files that have to go along with that if you want your changes in here. I'll zoom in.
That file is called a sidecar.
Yeah,
and it has to be attached for that to work.
Yeah. But with the DNG file, what Greg is saying, and he's absolutely right, is that all of the changes to your images get stored inside of that DNG file, so you don't have to send.
Yeah, and also you're saving 10 megabytes in one file, right? How many NEF files have you got there? How many raw files have you got there?
Dude, when I do a photo shoot, I only need like 7 photos. I nail it in just
I know,
about
me
7.
too.
It's see the hundreds of files that you have here?
Yeah, that's other stuff.
That was RC.
Yeah, that was RC borrowed my camera. I shoot everything.
Yeah. So think of how much memory you'd save.
And I'm going to tack on to yours, which is a little Lightroom tip for you, is see, you know, so let's say I come over here inside of Lightroom and I do changes like straight in this photo, which it needs badly.
Yeah.
And I do kind of, you know, whatever changes that I'm going to do inside of Lightroom to
Do the black and white. That's the easiest one.
Yeah, here, let's just convert it to black and white.
There you
So
go.
there's
That's
a book on black and white conversion.
And when I do these changes, a common something that trips people up is they think even though I've done these changes to the DNG file, they're actually not in the DNG
they're in the catalog file.
Yeah.
This was my next.
Okay.
I was going to tack that on. I was going to tack that on.
Go ahead.
Welcome.
Right, you go over to the preferences.
Uh-huh.
You know what? Now I've put myself on the spot.
You go right here to the catalog preferences.
Yeah, I'll talk to the Lightroom guy. Yeah. All right, little checkbox here, automatically write changes into XMP. That is the hidden glory checkbox in Lightroom.
Yep. So if you don't do that, what happens?
If you don't do that, you'll never actually save the changes into your DNG file. It will be saved in the catalog file in Lightroom.
You're only setting yourself up for frustration.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to make sure you turn that one on first.
So
caused a lot of heartache and a lot of pain by not clicking that little checkbox.
I was going to say that sounded like experience talking about that.
You have no idea.
Cool. Hey man, thank you.
Great. Thanks for letting me know.
Everybody out there, thanks you too. Allison, you got a tip?
No, I did forget this.
You're Greg's mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't use Photoshop?
No.
Come on up here and do a tip anyway. All right. Hey guys, that about ends our show for today.
I did forget one thing about the contest.
Oh, how to enter?
How to enter.
Show them, Corey.
You go to kelbytv.com/PhotoshopUserTV. Go to the current episode, which right now it's episode 338, but you'll look for this episode, which is 339. And go down to the bottom, enter a comment, question, whatever you like. That simply just put your name in the hat, and we will draw the name randomly, and you will win, of course, those 2 prizes we showed you earlier. And that is it.
Awesome. Hey, Pete, Corey, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Make sure you stop by and see these guys' blogs, CoreySBarker.com and PeteCollins.com. Greg and Allison, thank you so much for stopping by today. Thanks to the folks from iAcrylic, NAPP, all of our sponsors. We appreciate it. Guys, we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.